When a show or movie opens with a quote from Agatha Christie, you can be pretty sure that it's a murder mystery. But I also guess that with a title like Who Killed Sara or Quien Mató Sara, it's kind of obvious. And Netflix is letting us know that their new series isn't a rom-com. So should this be on your watch list? Hellbent on exacting revenge and proving he was framed for his sister's murder, a man sets out to unearth much more than the crime's real culprit. Alex's sister Sarah died while they were vacationing with some wealthy friends at their estate. Now first, this isn't a spoiler because it's literally the title of the show, but also this plays out in the very opening scene. The rest of the show is Alex trying to solve who really is responsible for Sarah's death. So this is fully a whodunit of a mystery, and a lot of the story, at its core, plays out like the Count of Monte Cristo. Alex meets a fellow prisoner who provides him help for when he gets out, and Alex is a man who's wrongfully accused and convicted of a crime who is now strategically and methodically planning his revenge and also uncovering the true perpetrator of the crime. Schemes are set to exact revenge, but a lot of planning goes into these, and they're not always quick executions of plans. So the cast of characters really helps to create suspense and mystery. As we learn more and more of the backstory, several scenarios become apparent, which make a lot of them very viable suspects. The development is good, but also reserved on certain characters, but that's used as an effect. Some of the background on a character and their past is useful to the mystery itself. And there is a lot of mystery and drama, especially because a lot of the emotions run high. There's so much conflict between the characters too, which makes them both suspicious and intriguing. And while some of the characters have some charisma at times, like Alex, Chema, Elisa, and Rodolfo, there are others that are meant to turn us off almost immediately. And there are even a couple more that are ambiguous. They ride that line between sympathetic and disgusting. The parents of Rodolfo, Chema, and Elisa do an exceptional job of being absolutely horrendous people. At no point did I ever like them, which was exactly how I was supposed to feel towards them. They're uber rich, but that's not what makes them terrible. It's their actions and their behaviors, and some of it comes from an air of privilege and conceit. But there's also how they treat their children, and pretty much everyone around them. They have this superiority complex that comes with their power and their money, and it makes them believe that they're invincible. Because the story is a mystery trying to be solved in the present, but with all of the events happening in the past, we get a good amount of flashbacks. The younger characters display carefree attitudes who get along and are really just enjoying their time together. There are points, too, which I found to be pretty effective as the show interweaves the young characters with the old to show how old wounds affect the characters and how they carry the weight of those feelings into adulthood. This imagery is used really well and helped to establish the mindsets and emotions of the characters that are in the present. Now, one thing that began to bother me some is that there is a fair amount of repetitiveness in this. We see scenes again and again, and while that can help to reinforce something in the story that we're seeing in that particular scene, it's also just repeating items we know and don't really need to see again. If you took all of the time of these repetitious scenes and didn't rely on them to carry the story, they could probably cut down an entire episode's worth of time. There's a bunch of ups and downs with the characters. Part of it is understandable due to the revelations and emotions that are being uncovered, but some of the time it just felt a little bit overdramatic. There are also a lot of frustrating moments between characters because their interactions are just so cruel and hurtful. This really helps to show the emotional pull that a family has on its members. There are 10 episodes in this season, and each is around the 40-minute mark. And like I said, some of the repetitive scenes and the info could be cut out, especially since this is set up to binge. But overall, the story moved quickly, and it kept my attention. So it feels like when it seems the culprit is going to be revealed, new information is released to cast suspicion on another character. And I like this. I think it's necessary to carry a good mystery. There needs to be enough truth uncovered to capture our attention and continue that intrigue, but also the story needs to hold enough back so that we can't guess the answer too quickly. The show does a good job of this too. It holds the cards really close to the vest, and through each episode it ekes out some interesting information that adds to the background in the present, but all the while just creating more doubt. Now, I had my suspicions at who the actual murderer was, and it wavered several times, but by episode 7, I had settled on who I thought it was. And it turns out I don't know. Why? Well, because there's a second season coming. And honestly, at first this frustrated me. I wanted to know the answer. And also, as the season was wrapping up, there is this building urgency that really led me to believe that we were going to have a reveal. But that being said, I'm also very intrigued by the setup for what's to come. There is a lot of sex, nudity, profanity, and violence, including sexual violence. I give Who Killed Sara 3.5 out of 5 couches. So what's a good mystery you've seen recently? Let me know what you've watched in the comments below. If you enjoyed this review, please give it a like. Also, don't forget to share and subscribe. I'm Chris. This is Movies and Munchies. Thanks for couching with me.